Alex had always thought that the universe was vast and lonely, a place where human ingenuity often felt like a fragile flame flickering against the darkness. But as he looked out of the small viewport of the outpost on Kalara 7, he felt that same flame burn brighter. The twin suns were dipping below jagged mountains, casting long shadows over the barren landscape. The air was thin, and the wind carried the faint hum of the planet's magnetic field. It was quiet, too quiet, but in that quiet, Alex felt the thrill of survival and the endless possibilities that came with being one of the first humans to step foot on this distant world. He wiped the sweat from his brow, though the temperature inside the outpost was controlled, and glanced at the small panel of blinking lights that represented the station's life support and power systems. Everything was functional, but just barely. Supplies were low. He had been rationing food, water, and oxygen carefully for weeks. The outpost had been intended for short-term research missions, but a transport ship malfunction had delayed any resupply. Alex had grown used to the solitude, relying on routine and careful planning to survive. Still, nothing could have prepared him for the sudden knock at the reinforced door. It was late evening, and the dim light inside the station flickered slightly. Alex froze, instinctively reaching for the small energy cutter at his belt. Who or what could be outside at this hour? Another knock followed, more insistent this time. He exhaled slowly and forced himself to stay calm. There were no signs of any local fauna capable of pressing a door handle, and he had secured the perimeter earlier that day. Whoever or whatever it was, it had to be intelligent. Alex cautiously approached the door and peered through the reinforced viewport. His eyes widened. Standing there was a figure, tall and elegant, humanoid but unmistakably alien. Her skin was pale with a subtle shimmer, like the surface of liquid metal reflecting the last rays of the twin suns. Her eyes were a deep violet, large and intelligent, scanning the outpost as if she had already calculated every weakness and potential danger. Her hair, long and silver, flowed in the weak wind, moving almost like it had a life of its own. For a moment, neither of them moved. Alex felt a strange mixture of awe and unease. The alien was not aggressive, but she was confident, almost unnervingly so. Then she spoke, her voice melodic but firm. "I need shelter." Alex's mind raced. Shelter? Who was she? How had she gotten here? He had never encountered an alien that had voluntarily approached a human, especially alone. Most reports from previous expeditions described alien behavior as territorial, cautious, and often hostile. Yet here she was, standing at his door, asking for help. He took a deep breath and opened the door, keeping the energy cutter at his side, but not raising it. I don't know who you are. Are you hurt?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "I am not hurt," she replied, stepping closer. "But my ship, it is damaged beyond immediate repair. I need temporary shelter." Her eyes locked with his, and there was a sharpness there, a clarity of thought that suggested she was not only intelligent, but highly skilled. Alex studied her for a moment. She didn't carry weapons, or at least none that he could see, but the way she moved, the way she held herself, suggested she could defend herself if needed. He realized she must be from a technologically advanced species. His mind flickered with questions, but one thought stood out more than any other. She needed him. "All right," he said cautiously. "You can come inside, but I warn you, space here is limited." Her lips curved into a small, knowing smile. "I do not require much," she said. "One bed will suffice," Alex blinked. "One bed?" he asked, unsure if he had heard correctly. The station had only a single sleeping module, designed for one occupant. Sharing it with someone else was unconventional and complicated. "Yes," she said simply, as if there were no room for debate. Then she stepped past him, her movements fluid and graceful, and slid into the small sleeping module. Alex froze, unsure what to do next. She was bold, far bolder than any being he had ever encountered. He cleared his throat. "There are rules," he said, though the words felt inadequate. She looked at him with an almost mischievous glint in her violet eyes.
"One bed."
"No rules," she whispered. And then she settled under the thin thermal sheets as if it were the most natural thing in the universe. Alex took a deep breath and tried to calm the sudden rush of thoughts and emotions. This was not a situation he had ever prepared for. Yet the practical side of him, the side that had survived countless emergencies, kicked in. He had to focus on survival first, understanding second. He moved to the control panel of the outpost, checking the systems again, and muttered, "I need to figure out how to repair her ship." The alien watched him silently, her gaze following his every movement. There was an air of quiet curiosity about her, but it was clear she was also studying him, assessing his skills, his reactions, his confidence. Alex felt an odd mixture of pride and unease. He had survived in harsh conditions, but he had never been under scrutiny like this. As the evening passed, Alex found himself explaining the outpost systems to her, almost instinctively. He showed her the energy grid, the water recycling module, and the oxygen generator. Her eyes lit up with understanding and appreciation, and she offered insights that Alex would never have considered. "You have adapted well to this planet," she said, her voice calm and measured. "Humans are resourceful." "I see that clearly now," Alex chuckled softly. "Resourceful or stubborn," he replied. "Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference." Kayla, he learned her name quickly, nodded in agreement. There is value in both. Her presence was strangely reassuring. Despite the boldness of her arrival, despite the oddity of her request, Alex felt a connection forming, based not on romance or friendship yet, but on mutual respect. She was capable, intelligent, and unafraid of challenges, a kind of companion he hadn't realized he wanted. Night fell over Kalara 7, and the twin suns disappeared completely behind the mountains, leaving the outpost bathed in soft darkness. Alex adjusted the thermal lighting, ensuring the temperature in the living module was comfortable. He glanced at the small sleeping compartment where Kayla had made herself comfortable. He didn't understand her fully, not yet, but he knew that she had changed something fundamental about this lonely outpost. The hours passed slowly, each tick of the clock echoing in the quiet of the station. Alex monitored the systems while Kayla seemed asleep, though her breathing was steady and measured, almost deliberate. He couldn't shake the feeling that she was always aware, always calculating, always observing. That thought unsettled him, but it also fascinated him. By the time the first light of the twin suns began to filter through the viewport, Alex had made a decision. He would help her repair the ship. It wasn't just about survival. It was about curiosity, about the thrill of collaboration with a being whose skills far exceeded his own. There was something undeniably human in the drive to tackle impossible challenges, to prove ingenuity and courage even when the odds seemed insurmountable. Kayla stirred as the light reached her, stretching gracefully, her violet eyes opening and meeting his. "You've decided," she said softly, almost like a statement, not a question. Alex nodded. "Yes, we'll fix your ship together." Her smile was faint, enigmatic, but there was warmth in it. "Then let us begin," she said. And so the day started with human ingenuity and alien precision working side by side. A partnership born out of necessity, curiosity, and perhaps a spark of something deeper neither of them fully understood yet. The vast lonely planet of Kalara 7 suddenly felt less empty. It felt alive with possibility. Outside, the wind howled across the barren plains, carrying the faint metallic hum of the planet's core. Inside, a human and an alien were preparing to challenge the impossible, not knowing that this encounter would mark the beginning of a story that would test courage, intelligence, and the extraordinary resilience of humanity itself. And as Alex glanced at Kayla, still resting under the small sheets, he realized that this partnership, strange, bold, and unconventional, might just change the way humans were seen in the galaxy. The adventure had only just begun, and the universe, in all its infinite complexity, was waiting. The next morning, Kayla rose before the twin suns had fully climbed the jagged mountains. Her movements were quiet, deliberate, each step calculated as she assessed the outpost around her. Alex, already at the control panel, glanced at her. She seemed different in the daylight, more tangible, less like a vision, and more like a being of flesh and skill. There was something about the way she observed the systems with careful attention that impressed him. "You've never seen one of these before, have you?" he asked, nodding toward the energy grid display. Kayla shook her head, her silver hair catching the first rays of sunlight. "Not like this. The design is clever, simple but effective." She stepped closer, her long fingers tracing the contours of the panel without touching it, as if she could understand its function by observing. "Your species adapts quickly." "That is rare." Alex felt a rush of pride. Humans had always been survivors, but in this moment on a distant world, it felt like survival had taken on a new meaning. "We do what we must," he said, tapping a few controls to adjust the power flow. "Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails, but we always try again." Kayla's violet eyes softened almost imperceptibly. "I see that in you." For a brief moment they shared a quiet understanding. It was a human moment. No words could fully capture the sense of persistence and resourcefulness that Alex carried into every situation. Kyla seemed to respect it, though her expression remained carefully neutral. The first task of the day was straightforward: assess the damage to Kayla's ship. The vessel rested a few kilometers from the outpost, partially camouflaged by the planet's rocky terrain. Its hull was scratched and dented, several key panels missing, and the energy core flickered faintly like a dying star. Alex had never worked on alien technology before, but Kayla's explanations were precise and patient. "Your tools will not be enough for all repairs," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We will need to improvise. Humans are adaptable. That may serve us well," Alex grinned. "That's what I was hoping for." They walked across the jagged plains together, Alex carrying a small toolbox, Kayla hovering slightly above the ground using her personal stabilizers. The journey was short but tense, each aware of the fragile balance between survival and disaster on this planet. Winds whipped around them, carrying dust that scratched their faces and obscured the horizon. Yet Alex could not help but marvel at Kayla's composure. She was entirely unafraid, entirely confident, moving as if the planet itself had no power to challenge her. When they reached the ship, Kayla began to work immediately, her hands moving with precision across the alien controls and panels. Alex followed her instructions carefully, his human ingenuity coming into play whenever they encountered a problem. A missing power conduit, a fractured energy line, a broken stabilizer. Alex found ways to patch, reroute, and reinforce them using tools and materials from the outpost. "You humans are resourceful," Kayla said, her voice not hiding her surprise. "I expected more." Hesitation, Alex chuckled, wiping sweat from his brow. "You get used to thinking on your feet when your life depends on it. We call it survival instinct." Hours passed, the twin suns climbing higher in the sky, casting sharp shadows across the metallic surface of the damaged ship. Slowly, bit by bit, they began restoring the energy core. Kayla explained the alien systems, pointing out subtle details that Alex would never have noticed. His solutions were simple, often unorthodox, but they worked. The human way of improvising, of taking risks that seemed unreasonable, complemented her precise and calculated approach. During a brief pause, Kayla stood beside Alex, watching him test a repaired module. The air between them was filled with quiet tension, not the kind of tension that frightened, but the kind that came from two minds working in tandem under pressure. "You learn quickly," she observed. "Your species has a certain boldness." Alex looked at her, brushing a smudge of grime from his forehead. "Boldness and stubbornness," he said with a grin. "Sometimes one saves you, sometimes the other." Kayla's lips curved slightly. "Both have value." By midday, they had restored enough functionality to power the ship's basic systems. Kayla's eyes sparkled as she tested the energy lines and control panels. "We are ready for the next stage," she said. "But it will be dangerous. The stabilizers are damaged. We must be careful during the atmospheric tests." Alex nodded. "Danger is my middle name," he joked, though he did not feel joking inside. The work was tense, the potential for failure high. One wrong move and the ship could overload or collapse. The testing began. Kayla climbed into the cockpit, her hands flying over controls with effortless precision. Alex monitored the readings from outside, adjusting auxiliary power and providing improvised solutions whenever the systems faltered. Sparks flew from damaged panels and a low hum filled the air as energy surged through the ship's circuits. At one point, a section of the hull began to buckle. Alex leapt forward, gripping the support beam and holding it in place while rerouting the energy line to stabilize the pressure. He felt the strain in every muscle, but he didn't stop. Humans had a peculiar ability to adapt under stress, to find solutions even when the odds seemed impossible. Kayla watched, impressed, and a spark of respect glimmered in her violet eyes. Hours turned into evening. They worked tirelessly, taking only brief moments to rest, eat, and hydrate. By the time the twin suns set, the ship was operational enough to test short flights in controlled conditions. Alex and Kayla returned to the outpost, exhausted but satisfied. Inside, Kayla paused and looked at Alex. "I did not expect a human to contribute so much," she admitted. "I have observed many species across the galaxy, but your kind, you are persistent, daring, and clever. You find ways where others see only barriers." Alex felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been underestimated in the galaxy. Their courage, adaptability, and ingenuity were often ignored by more advanced civilizations. But here, in the middle of nowhere on a harsh and alien world, it had mattered. Kayla settled into the small sleeping module again, though this time her posture was less rigid, more relaxed. Alex observed her quietly, realizing that despite her boldness there was a vulnerability, trust perhaps, that had begun to form. They were allies now, companions of circumstance, and something deeper was beginning to grow. "Tomorrow," Kayla said softly, "we will test the ship's flight capabilities. I will guide you through the process, but I will need your input. Human intuition may be valuable," Alex smiled. "Then I won't disappoint." The night passed slowly, filled with quiet preparation. Alex double-checked all systems, and Kayla reviewed flight protocols explaining the nuances of alien aerodynamics and energy management. It was a strange partnership, human improvisation meeting alien precision, but it worked. They complemented each other, a perfect balance of intellect and courage. By the next morning, the wind had calmed, and the planet's surface reflected a soft golden light. The time for testing had come. Alex and Kayla climbed aboard the ship, preparing for short flights that would ensure stability and safety. The alien systems hummed with energy, responding to Alex's adjustments and Kayla's commands. The first test was cautious. The ship lifted slowly, hovering a few meters above the rocky terrain. Alex felt the familiar thrill of movement, the surge of energy under his control. Kayla guided him with calm instructions, her voice steady, her eyes bright with concentration. The test progressed smoothly until they encountered turbulence caused by the planet's magnetic fields. The ship wobbled dangerously, energy lines flickering. Alex's mind raced, calculating adjustments, rerouting auxiliary power, and stabilizing the flight path. Kayla watched, impressed by his ability to make quick decisions under pressure. Minutes felt like hours, but finally, the ship stabilized. Both of them exhaled, relief evident in their expressions. "Your kind never ceases to amaze me," Kayla said softly. "Human intuition. It saved us." Alex laughed, a sound of genuine satisfaction. "I guess stubbornness has its moments." As the day ended, they returned to the outpost, exhausted but triumphant. They had proven that human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability could match alien technology, even in the harshest of environments. Kayla's respect for Alex had deepened, and his understanding of alien intelligence had grown. They were no longer strangers. They were partners, allies facing a vast, uncertain universe together. Outside, the twin suns set, painting the sky with streaks of orange and violet. Inside, two beings from different worlds shared a quiet moment of victory, unaware that the challenges ahead would test not only their skills, but the very essence of human courage and resilience. And for the first time since Alex had arrived on Kylara 7, the outpost did not feel lonely. It felt alive with possibility, with purpose, and with the spark of something extraordinary, an adventure that had only just begun. The morning light of Kylara 7 spilled across the rocky plains, casting long shadows over the repaired ship. Alex stood beside it, checking the auxiliary systems once more, while Kyla hovered nearby, her violet eyes scanning the horizon with sharp intensity. There was an unspoken tension in the air. Though their initial tests had been successful, both knew the planet could be unpredictable, and danger often came unannounced. Alex adjusted the last of the auxiliary conduits, ensuring the power flow was stable. He glanced at Kayla. "Everything looks ready. Are you sure the main systems will hold?" Kayla nodded, her expression calm but alert. "They should. But Kylara 7 is full of surprises. The atmosphere fluctuates, and local magnetic storms can affect even the most advanced systems." She paused, her gaze drifting toward the distant horizon. "We must remain vigilant. Not everything here is natural." Alex followed her gaze and saw it, an unusual shimmer in the air, a ripple that moved unnaturally against the wind. "What is that?" he asked, narrowing his eyes. Kayla's expression darkened. "They are not from this planet," she said quietly. A faction from my world is tracking me. They seek control of my ship and its technology. They will not hesitate to use force. Alex's pulse quickened. He had faced dangers before, but this was different. These were not natural hazards or mechanical failures. They were intelligent, organized threats. Yet he felt a strange surge of confidence. Humans had a peculiar ability to confront danger, to improvise and survive in situations others would consider hopeless. Kayla activated the ship's scanners. Red blips appeared, moving steadily toward their position. They are fast, but not faster than us. We can evade them if we act quickly. Alex grabbed the control panel he had been carrying, improvising a mobile interface to connect to the ship's auxiliary systems. Let's make sure they don't even get close, he said, determination hardening his voice. The first attack came without warning. A small fleet of sleek, dark ships emerged over the ridge, moving with precision and speed. They fired pulses of energy toward the outpost, causing sparks and minor explosions across the rocky ground. Alex ducked behind a panel as a blast tore through, and Kayla activated a force shield around the ship. Human ingenuity will be tested, Kayla said, her voice steady. We must think faster than they do. Alex's mind raced. He studied the attack patterns, noting the timing and trajectory of each energy pulse. He rerouted auxiliary power to create an energy buffer that could absorb the next few shots. Then, using scrap panels and metal from the outpost, he set up makeshift barriers in a zigzag pattern to channel the energy pulses away from the ship. It was risky, but humans often thrived on risks. The alien ships adjusted their trajectory, attempting to bypass the barriers, but Alex had anticipated it. He activated the ship's auxiliary thrusters remotely, shifting its position just enough to create blind spots in the attacker's targeting systems. Kayla's eyes widened slightly in surprise and admiration. You think like no human I have observed, she admitted. Alex grinned, ducking as another pulse narrowly missed him. That's what humans do, he said, his voice steady despite the chaos. We improvise. We survive. Hours passed in a blur of energy pulses, evasive maneuvers, and quick thinking. Alex and Kayla moved seamlessly, a team forged in crisis. Where Kayla's precision guided the ship and calculated every move, Alex's bold improvisation created unexpected advantages that even the attackers could not predict. During a brief lull, Kayla adjusted the ship's shields and systems. We cannot keep this up indefinitely, she said. They will adapt. Alex nodded, thinking quickly. Then we make them adapt to us first. He scanned the surrounding terrain and noticed a narrow canyon nearby. If we lure them into that canyon, their numbers won't help them. They'll have to navigate carefully, and we can control the fight. Kayla's eyes sparkled with recognition. A human plan. Bold, risky, but potentially effective. I approve. They maneuvered the ship carefully toward the canyon, Alex providing constant input on power adjustments and terrain navigation. The attackers followed, confident in their numbers and advanced technology, unaware that they were being funneled into a trap. As they entered the canyon, the rocky walls narrowed sharply. Alex activated additional thrusters to create sudden bursts of movement, forcing the alien ships to adjust their paths constantly. Several collided with canyon walls, while others were forced to fire less accurate shots. Kayla directed energy pulses at weak points, disabling engines and communication systems without destroying the vessels entirely. You humans are remarkable, Kayla said, a hint of excitement in her voice. Your adaptability, your willingness to take risks. It is extraordinary. Alex smiled, feeling a surge of pride. We've survived worse, he said simply. We just have to keep thinking. The battle continued for hours, the narrow canyon amplifying every move and energy pulse. Alex and Kayla worked in perfect sync, their combined skills turning the attackers' advantages into weaknesses. By the time the sun dipped below the canyon walls, most of the alien ships had been forced to retreat, their systems damaged and morale shaken. Kayla landed the ship carefully at the outpost, both of them exhausted but victorious. She turned to Alex, her violet eyes glowing with respect. You have proven the value of human courage and ingenuity. I underestimated your species. Not again. Alex wiped sweat and grime from his face, leaning against the hull. Humans are full of surprises, he said with a tired grin. We survive, we adapt. We don't give up. The outpost was in partial disarray from the attacks, but nothing critical had been destroyed. Alex quickly began assessing repairs while Kayla recalibrated the ship's systems, her hands moving with practiced precision. Despite the danger they had just faced, both felt a renewed sense of determination. As night fell over Kalara 7, the twin suns gone and the stars beginning to shine across the black sky, Alex and Kayla shared a quiet moment near the ship. The planet was silent again, the only sound the hum of the repaired energy systems. "You saved us," Kayla said softly, her voice almost vulnerable. "Your human intuition. It made the difference." Alex looked at her, noticing for the first time a subtle softness in her expression. "We saved each other," he said simply. "I couldn't have done it without you either." Kayla studied him, her gaze lingering. "Perhaps humans are not as fragile as many believe," she said thoughtfully. "There is strength in your kind, strength that is rare and inspiring." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. Humans had always faced doubt and underestimation, both from other species and sometimes from themselves. But here, on a distant world, their courage and ingenuity had earned respect in the most direct way possible, by surviving impossible odds. The night grew colder, and Kayla retreated to the small sleeping module. Alex remained outside, checking systems and scanning the horizon for any lingering threats. But he did so with a sense of calm, knowing that together, they could face whatever this world or the galaxy might throw at them. The stars glittered above like distant eyes, watching their struggle, their triumph, and their courage. Alex realized that the universe was vast and unpredictable. But humans had something unique, the ability to face danger head-on, to improvise and adapt, and to persist when all seemed lost. And in that moment, he understood something deeper about Kayla. She had come to him expecting shelter, perhaps aid, but she had also found a partner, someone who could match her skill, her intelligence, and her determination. And in turn, Alex had found something extraordinary in her presence, a reminder that even in the cold expanse of space, human ingenuity and courage could shine brighter than any star. They were not just surviving. They were thriving, proving that humanity could stand among the stars, respected, capable, and unyielding. The battle had tested them, shaped them, and bonded them. And as the wind whispered across the plains of Kalara 7, Alex and Kayla prepared for the next challenge, knowing that whatever came, they would face it together, human and alien, equal partners in a dangerous and wondrous universe. The following morning, the outpost was quiet, almost unnaturally so. The attacks from the alien faction had ended, at least for the time being, leaving behind a tense calm that made Alex uneasy. He moved through the corridors of the small station, checking the systems once more, ensuring that no lingering damage would cause problems later. The repairs he had begun yesterday were nearly complete, but Kayla insisted on personally inspecting every panel and circuit before they attempted the next phase of testing. Kayla hovered beside him, her movements deliberate and graceful. "You have done well, Alex," she said, her voice calm but sincere. "Your ability to anticipate problems and find solutions is remarkable." Alex smiled, though he felt the weight of exhaustion pressing on him. "I've had a good teacher," he said lightly. "You've explained everything perfectly. I just adapt it to human ways." Kayla's violet eyes studied him, thoughtful. "Human ways are unpredictable, yet effective. I admit I underestimated the value of improvisation." Their conversation was interrupted by a low hum from the ship outside. The energy core flickered gently, a reminder that the vessel was far from fully operational. The final tests would require both of them to work together more closely than ever before, combining Kayla's precision with Alex's improvisation. As they prepared, Alex noticed Kayla studying the planet's surface, her gaze distant. "Something on your mind?" he asked. Kayla shook her head slightly. "Only the thought that success depends not just on skill but on trust. You have proven capable, but I must know I can rely on you in critical moments." Alex nodded. "You can. Humans, we rise to the occasion when it matters most. You'll see." With that, they moved to the ship, preparing for the next series of tests. The first objective was to stabilize the atmospheric shields and power conduits for sustained flight. Alex worked on auxiliary systems while Kayla handled the main controls. Sparks flew occasionally from damaged panels, and the hum of energy filled the small area around them. "Careful with that conduit," Kayla warned. "One mistake and we could overload the system." Alex adjusted his grip and rerouted the wiring, using a makeshift clamp to stabilize a damaged line. "There," he said. "That should hold for now." Kayla glanced at him, her violet eyes showing a hint of admiration. "Your solutions are creative, Perhaps that is why humans survive in so many environments. As they continued their work, a sudden alarm sounded from the ship's systems. The auxiliary power grid had begun to fluctuate unexpectedly. Alex quickly scanned the readings, noting the spikes in energy flow. "It's the magnetic field," Kayla said, analyzing the data. "The planet's core is shifting slightly. It will cause instability unless we compensate." Alex's mind raced. He adjusted the auxiliary power flow, rerouted energy through secondary conduits, and improvised a stabilization matrix using spare panels and connectors from the outpost. Kayla guided his hands remotely, offering precise instructions while he applied human ingenuity to adapt them in real time. Hours passed as they worked, sweat dripping from Alex's brow. The tension was high, but both felt a strange exhilaration. The combination of human risk-taking and alien precision was proving to be incredibly effective. By midday, the systems were stable. The ship's hum had returned to a steady rhythm, and the power conduits glowed with smooth energy flow. Kayla tested each function meticulously, and Alex assisted, making minor adjustments where necessary. "Good," Kayla said, her voice calm but firm. "We are ready for the next stage, sustained flight tests," Alex nodded. "Let's do it." The flight tests began cautiously. Alex monitored the ship from the outpost while Kayla piloted carefully above the rocky plains. The vessel lifted smoothly, hovering and moving forward in precise increments. Alex adjusted power distribution to compensate for shifts in the planet's magnetic field, using sensors to anticipate instability. Suddenly, turbulence hit, a pocket of high-energy wind swirling unpredictably around the canyon edges. The ship rocked dangerously. Alex acted quickly, rerouting power to the stabilizers and signaling Kayla to adjust her course. The combined effort of human intuition and alien skill kept the ship steady. "You are remarkable," Kayla said, her voice calm but tinged with awe. "Your ability to anticipate problems and act instantly. It is unlike any species I have known." Alex smiled, focusing on the controls. "Humans survive by thinking fast, even when we don't fully understand the danger. It's how we endure." As the day progressed, the flight tests grew more complex. Kayla guided the ship through narrow passes, over rocky cliffs and through pockets of turbulence, while Alex monitored and improvised solutions to any system irregularities. Each success strengthened their trust in each other's abilities. By late afternoon, they had completed the tests successfully. The ship's systems were fully operational, capable of sustained flight and responsive to both Kayla's precise commands and Alex's adaptive adjustments. Exhausted but satisfied, they returned to the outpost. Kayla hovered near the ship, studying Alex with an intensity that made him uncomfortable yet intrigued. "You have earned my trust," she said finally. "Human intuition and courage. I underestimated both. You have proven invaluable." Alex felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been underestimated by other species, often dismissed as fragile or reckless. Yet here, on a distant planet, their ability to think creatively under pressure had been the deciding factor in survival. The quiet of the evening settled over the outpost. Alex repaired minor damage in the station, while Kayla reviewed the ship's logs and systems. Despite the intense work, there was a sense of calm and accomplishment. They had survived attacks, repaired a damaged ship, and proven their ability to work together as equals. As night fell, Alex paused to look at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly above, full of challenges and unknowns, yet he felt a rare sense of confidence. Humans had the courage, ingenuity, and persistence to face whatever came next, and Kayla, despite her alien perspective, seemed to recognize the same truth. Inside the outpost, Kayla rested in the small sleeping module, her body relaxed but her mind clearly active. Alex observed quietly, realizing that the bond between them had grown beyond necessity. It was trust, respect, and the quiet admiration of two beings who had survived impossible odds together. The next day, they planned the final repairs. The ship would need full calibration, including navigation systems, stabilizers, and energy shielding, before it could safely leave Kalara 7. Both knew the work would be intense, but neither hesitated. The human drive to solve problems and the alien precision to execute them made a perfect combination. As Alex adjusted energy flows and Kayla monitored the readings, they worked in silence for long stretches, each focused on the delicate balance required for the ship's survival. Sweat, dust, and exhaustion coated them both, yet the sense of accomplishment kept them moving. By midday, the final calibrations were nearly complete. The ship hummed with steady energy, the systems synchronized perfectly. Kayla tested the stabilizers one last time, her hands flying over controls with unmatched precision. Alex monitored auxiliary power, ready to adjust instantly if needed. "It is ready," Kayla said finally, her voice calm but satisfied. "The ship can leave this planet safely." "We have done it." Alex smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride. "We've done it together. Human creativity and courage, plus your skill. We make a good team." Kayla's violet eyes softened, a subtle acknowledgement of their partnership. "Indeed, you are an extraordinary human, Alex. I will remember this collaboration, and the lessons I have learned from you." As the twin suns set and night fell over KLRA 7, they prepared for one final test. A short flight across the plains to confirm full stability. Alex adjusted power flows Kayla piloted with precision, and the ship responded flawlessly. They moved in perfect harmony, demonstrating the strength of human ingenuity and alien skill combined. By the time they returned to the outpost, the stars sparkled above like distant eyes watching their achievement. Alex felt a deep satisfaction, knowing that humans had proven their resilience and capability once again. Kayla, hovering silently beside the ship, seemed to share that sentiment, her respect for human courage and ingenuity evident in every measured movement. The outpost was quiet, but alive with possibility. Alex and Kayla had faced danger, overcome obstacles, and strengthened a bond that went beyond survival. They were ready for the final stage, leaving KLRA 7 and proving that humanity could stand among the stars, respected and capable, and as the night deepened, the two of them looked toward the horizon, knowing that their adventure was far from over, but that together, they could face whatever challenges awaited them in the vast and unpredictable galaxy. The dawn light crept over the jagged mountains of KLRA 7, painting the rocky plains with soft shades of gold and violet. Alex stood beside the ship, checking the final calibrations while Kayla hovered nearby, her violet eyes focused on the instruments. Today would mark the final stage of their work, the departure from this harsh planet and the beginning of a new chapter in the galaxy. Alex's hands moved quickly over the control panel, making last-minute adjustments to the power conduits and stabilizers. Every system had been tested multiple times, yet the thrill of anticipation made his pulse quicken. Kayla's presence beside him was a steadying force. Her confidence and precision complemented his adaptability perfectly. "We are ready," Kayla said softly, though there was a tension in her tone that belied the calm in her words. "The ship is fully operational. The atmospheric shields are stable and navigation systems are synchronized." Alex nodded, glancing at her. "Then let's make this happen." They climbed into the ship together, Alex taking the auxiliary control station while Kayla piloted from the main cockpit. The engines hummed to life, the energy core glowing steadily, responding to every adjustment they had made. Outside, the twin suns were rising, casting long shadows across the plains. It was a beautiful, almost surreal moment, the calm before departure. As the ship lifted off, Alex monitored the power distribution, making minor adjustments to keep the vessel steady. Kayla's hands moved with precise confidence, guiding the ship through the atmosphere. The controls responded perfectly, a testament to their combined efforts over the past several days. For a moment, they moved in silence, enjoying the sense of accomplishment. Alex allowed himself a small smile. Humans had been underestimated across the galaxy, often dismissed as fragile or reckless. Yet here, on this distant world, human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability had proven decisive. But their triumph was not without danger. The alien faction that had attacked them previously could return at any moment, and Kayla's ship, though repaired, was valuable. Alex kept an eye on the scanners, watching the horizon for any signs of movement. "You remain vigilant," Kayla said, her voice calm but firm. "I trust your instincts," Alex glanced at her. "I've got this," he said, though the adrenaline running through him was unmistakable. Humans had a way of surviving by staying alert and reacting quickly, and he intended to prove it once more. The flight across the plains was smooth at first, but then turbulence struck unexpectedly. Energy fields from the planet's core caused minor fluctuations, rocking the ship. Alex reacted immediately, adjusting auxiliary power and rerouting energy through stabilizers. Kayla's violet eyes flicked toward him, impressed by his quick thinking. "You anticipate well," she said, her voice steady. "Human intuition is valuable," Alex grinned. "We call it experience, and sometimes luck." The turbulence intensified as they approached the outer ridge of the mountains. Jagged rocks jutted up from the plains below, and the wind carried sharp gusts that threatened to destabilize the ship. Kayla adjusted the thrusters while Alex continuously modified the power distribution to maintain equilibrium. Their teamwork was seamless, a blend of human improvisation and alien precision. Suddenly, the scanners beeped. Another fleet of enemy ships appeared over the ridge, faster and more coordinated than before. Alex felt the familiar rush of adrenaline, the human instinct to face danger head-on. "They've returned," Kayla said, her tone calm but edged with caution. "They must not capture this vessel." "We must act quickly," Alex's mind raced. The previous battle had taught them much, but the stakes were higher now. The alien faction would likely attempt to overwhelm them with numbers and superior firepower. He needed a plan, and fast. "Listen," Alex said, his voice focused. "We'll use the canyon again. It worked before. This time we modify it. I'll create diversionary power pulses to confuse their targeting. You focus on maneuvering the ship through narrow passes. We can make them crash or force them to retreat." Kayla studied him for a moment, then nodded. Bold, human. Risky, but potentially effective. "I will follow your lead." They moved quickly, flying toward the familiar canyon. The alien ships pursued, firing energy pulses that Alex intercepted with improvised auxiliary shields and power diversions. Sparks flew across the ship's hull as they narrowly avoided the blasts. Alex's quick thinking and Kayla's precise piloting allowed them to navigate the canyon safely while the attackers struggled with the narrow terrain. "Your strategy is effective," Kayla said, her voice calm but carrying a note of awe. "I did not expect human ingenuity to match my calculations so closely." Alex adjusted the energy shields again, creating temporary blind spots that forced several enemy ships to collide with canyon walls. Others were disabled by the focused energy pulses, their engines overloaded by the precise rerouting of power. It was a perfect combination of human improvisation and alien skill. By the time they emerged from the canyon, most of the attacking fleet had been neutralized or forced to retreat. The remaining vessels were far behind, unable to match the speed and cunning of Alex and Kayla's coordinated efforts. Kayla landed the ship carefully on a plateau beyond the canyon. Both were exhausted, their bodies coated in dust and grime, but the sense of victory was profound. They had survived against overwhelming odds, proving the strength of their partnership and the ingenuity of humanity. "You have exceeded all expectations," Kayla said, her violet eyes reflecting genuine admiration. "Human courage and adaptability. It is extraordinary." Alex smiled, feeling the pride of accomplishment. "We did it together. Humans survive by thinking fast, and you guide us with precision. That's a perfect combination." The night fell over Kalara 7, and the twin moons rose, casting a silver glow over the rugged landscape. Alex and Kayla sat near the ship, reviewing the systems one last time. The vessel was fully operational, capable of interstellar travel and ready to leave the planet. Kayla turned to Alex, her expression softening. "You have proven that humans are not only resourceful but courageous. I underestimated your kind. I see now that your ingenuity is invaluable." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. Humans had always been underestimated, but here on a distant world their skill, courage, and persistence had earned respect in the most direct way possible. "Kayla," he said quietly, "we've faced danger, solved impossible problems, and survived together. That's something humans do best. We adapt, we endure, and we rise to the occasion." Kayla nodded, her eyes reflecting both respect and something deeper, something almost unspoken. "And I have learned much from you, Alex. Not just about human ingenuity, but about trust, courage, and determination. These are qualities that transcend species. They are universal." They prepared the ship for departure, ensuring that every system was secure. Alex double-checked the auxiliary controls while Kayla confirmed navigation coordinates. The engines hummed steadily, energy flowing smoothly through every conduit. As they lifted off, leaving the rocky plains of Kalara 7 behind, Alex felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Humans had proven that courage, ingenuity, and persistence could overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. Kayla's trust and admiration were a testament to what humans could achieve when faced with danger and uncertainty. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a vast expanse full of possibilities and unknown challenges. Alex and Kayla moved as a team, ready to face whatever the galaxy had in store. Their partnership, forged in adversity and strengthened through collaboration, had become unbreakable. In that moment, Alex realized something deeper. Humanity's place in the universe was not defined by fear or fragility, but by courage, creativity, and the willingness to face the unknown. And together with Kayla, he had proven that humans could rise to extraordinary heights, respected and capable among the stars. As the ship glided into open space, Alex and Kayla shared a quiet moment, watching the stars streak past. They had faced danger, overcome impossible odds, and forged a bond built on trust and mutual respect. The adventure was far from over, but they were ready for whatever came next. And in the silence of space, Alex felt a certainty he had never known before. Humanity, with its courage, ingenuity, and determination, could shine brighter than any star. The galaxy awaited, vast and unpredictable, but for the first time, Alex knew that they were not alone. Humans had proven their worth, and the universe had taken notice.